The world is getting noisier every single year, as are our news feeds, and as a result, it gets more and more difficult to stand out and attract the kind of attention that you need to make a bigger impact with your business or your career. Yes, it's annoying, but the good news is you absolutely have the power to do something about this. It doesn't require any magic tricks, a particular personality type, even any fancy marketing tactics. But it doesn't happen by accident either. So for that reason, in today's video, we are going to be talking about what it actually takes to build a magnetic personal brand. 3 things that I see over and over again that sabotage just about everybody's results. And the one thing that you actually need to do if you want to guarantee progress. So if you've been feeling like your industry's best kept secret and you're ready to do something about it, I suggest you watch the whole video. Now, there is a lot of free content out there that is promising to share all of the juicy secrets with you about how to build a personal brand. And if you've been consuming much of it, you might be coming to this video feeling a bit overwhelmed about what to do, frustrated that you still can't seem to take action or see any results. And so what we're going to do first is talk about how these 3 things are created in part by the crappy content that is out there. See if any of these sound like you. Scenario number 1. You decide you want to build a personal brand. You do all your research, you download the freebies, listen to the podcasts, take the courses, and wow, there are so many options as to what you could do. There are so many platforms and tactics, and you're like, okay, I need to guarantee my success, so I'm gonna hedge my bets and I'm gonna do as much as possible. I'm gonna launch a podcast, be on Instagram, have a blog, start an email list. I'm gonna be posting every day. I'm gonna do everything because the more I do, the quicker I'm gonna get there, right? Well, maybe you're one of the lucky ones who manages to actually start taking action despite this completely exhausting sounding plan. But it doesn't take very long for you to get inconsistent because it just feels unsustainable. It is just too much. And the more you fall off the bandwagon, the more you beat yourself up about what a failure you are. Why couldn't I just stick with it? What's wrong with me? Now, is this sounding at all familiar? I call these anti-magnetic habits. The second scenario is, let's say you decide to build a personal brand and you have someone in particular that you know has done it really well. And you have been watching their every move. You're like, okay, I see what they're doing here. They're posting this kind of content. They're on this platform. They have this funnel. They do this kind of photo shoot. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna model what it is that they're doing because it's proven, it worked for them. So you make your plan step by step by step and you start trying to implement it and very quickly realize, oh, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel like me. Why is this so difficult? Oh, I'm not good at this thing. Oh, I don't like this platform. It just starts to feel really heavy. And why do you think? Oh, it's because you are trying to do something that works really well for somebody else. Somebody who isn't you, who has different personality and skill set and target audience and experience level. And sure enough, you weren't able to get the results with their plan because it wasn't a plan that was made for you. I call this creating from the outside in. Anti-magnetic habit number 3. You map out a plan. You are sure that Instagram is the place to be. So you go all in. You're like, I'm committed. This is exciting. I can see it. My success is within reach. And you start posting and you're into it and you're enthusiastic and confident. And then you're posting and no one's really doing anything. You're not getting any followers. You got like 3 likes and one of them was from your mum. And you're like, okay, this isn't really going the way I thought. Wow, this sucks. Clearly I'm doing something wrong. And then you're consuming your free content and you hear everyone talking about how TikTok is the new Instagram. The algorithm is so much better. Like Instagram sucks for organic reach. TikTok is the place to be. And you're like, oh, it wasn't me, it was the platform. And so you move your focus over to TikTok. Maybe you try and stay on Instagram at the same time because FOMO. Either way, you're excited, you're posting, it's happening, you're sure it's going to work. And then the results aren't coming and it feels more difficult than it was going to. And wow, editing videos for TikTok is actually quite challenging. Oh, why don't I have 1 million followers yet? Why haven't I gone viral? Oh, I suck. And then you hear about another platform. And off you go again. Yeah, sound familiar? This shiny object syndrome or tactic hopping is another killer of progress. If you don't stick with one platform, you never get to build any momentum. You're never going to get to that level of mastery that you need to really see those results. We just keep hopping because it can be really difficult. It can feel uncomfortable when you're posting and nothing seems to be happening. We just want that dopamine hit. We want to be out of this discomfort and onto something that feels better, but it's always short lasting, which is why we've got to be really careful with the advice that we're following, because it can throw us off course so quickly. But putting all of that aside, it's like, okay, so what do I do? Like, we know that doesn't work. What does work? Don't worry, we're getting to this. So I want you to bring someone to mind, someone that you look up to. It could be a well-known creator, it could be an influencer, a thought leader, it doesn't matter. Just you have them on a pedestal. You got them in mind? Let's say you wanted to tell your friend about this person and what they're all about, but you had to do it in like one sentence. Would you be able to boil down the essence of who this person is, or really what they're all about, in a sentence? You reckon you could? Yeah, I would say so, because it's nearly impossible to get known if you are not known for something specific. This brings us to the first crucial piece of the personal branding puzzle, which is, if you want to get known, know what you want to get known for. What is it that you're all about? What is your expertise? Who are you trying to reach? And how is what you do relevant to them? And what is it that you do differently, do uniquely? Don't worry, don't overthink this one. You already do what you do uniquely because you're you. It's not that you need to reinvent the wheel. But all of that said, clarity on what it is that you are about is going to make a huge difference in people then being able to know what you're about and then tell their friends about you, which is obviously one of the ways the momentum starts to build. But that's the thing. People talking about you, well, first they need to hear about you, right? Yeah, so we need to talk about puzzle piece number 2. See, a lot of clients and students, when they first come to me, they have spent a really long time, months, sometimes longer, and often a lot of money as well, working behind the scenes, trying to create their perfect strategy, their perfect brand identity, the website, the photo shoot, all of the things that they are like, okay, these have to be in place, because when I put myself out there, I want to do it right. Like, I want to do it well. I want to make a killer first impression. At least that's what they're saying. Reading between the lines, which is easy for me to do because I've worked with people for enough years to spot these patterns a mile off. What's really going on here is that there is a fear of taking the leap, of putting yourself out there and then suddenly being vulnerable to people's opinions, people's judgment, maybe people's criticism. And so we will just stay behind the scenes, trying to work on the things, make it all perfect, get to this point where we feel confident enough, ready enough to put ourselves out there. But spoiler alert, you never get there. You never actually feel that ready. There is always going to be that fear, that lack of confidence, at least as long as you're hiding behind the scenes and not getting any practice, not taking any real steps. And the thing is, you can have the most perfect website in the world, and if people can't find it, then it is absolutely useless. It's not worth a cent. And so that is why the second piece of the puzzle we have to get nailed down is being able to show up and share our brilliance unapologetically, even if we're still nervous, even if there is imposter syndrome going on and you have an imperfect website and you're worried you're not good on camera. None of that matters, because the only way you're going to get where you want to go is by starting to show up. And that brings me back to what I was saying in the beginning about that free content and how it can be quite problematic. Now, disclaimer, I might get a little feisty in this section. A lot of that information out there that we tend to consume when we're trying to learn about personal branding and marketing and building a business, all of that, it's basically regurgitated information that these people learnt from someone else, who learnt it from someone else, who learnt it from someone else. The information is generic, it's one size fits all, and they are telling you to do generic one size fits all things. They're like, just post a lot, just swipe my content prompts, just do exactly what I did, or yeah, use ChatGPT and you can hack the system. You'll be able to create so much content in no time. The list goes on. They're giving this same information to everybody that is consuming their content, meaning everyone out there is basically going to be doing the same thing. Question, do you think that Brené Brown, that Simon Sinek, that Gary Vaynerchuk, that these people that we look up to and see as thought leaders these days, do you think that they followed someone's generic content prompts to become who they are today? So then why is it that we all seem to think that following that generic advice is going to get us to where they are? Broken logic, if you ask me, but hey, what do I know? This brings us to what the third piece of the puzzle really is all about. And it's, if you want to establish yourself as a thought leader, the only choice for your audience, you need to own your onlyness factor. You need to do things in a way that no one else can do them. Share your unique story, your unique perspective, develop your unique process, methodology, framework, whatever you want to call it. You need to become unmistakable, unmatched. Now, that might sound like a lot. You're like, well, that's easier said than done. Yeah, it is easier said than done, but doing it is going to be the thing that sets you apart from the millions of people who are trying to do the easy thing, which is do the same thing as everybody else. Yet it takes time. It takes strategy. It takes practice. It takes developing your skills, iteration, trial and error, putting yourself out there, stretching your comfort zone, getting feedback, investing in yourself, all of these things. There aren't any hacks, there aren't any quick fixes, because none of this stuff is one size fits all, and it's about you figuring out who you are and how you do it best, and then getting really good at articulating that with the world. But I want to now bring it down to my final piece of the puzzle, because even doing some of this work, nothing is a guarantee, right? There is only one thing that actually does guarantee your success. And to paint the picture, I want to tell you about a client of mine who I started working with over 4 years ago. When she came to me, she was going from zero, okay? She'd quit a corporate job, had launched a YouTube channel and wanted to launch a coaching business, but didn't have anything, as in didn't know who her audience was, didn't have anything to sell yet, had published some videos, but was self-professed, was flailing and was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've probably made a huge mistake. What am I going to do? So when we started working together, we mapped out a simple plan and off she went and implemented. Year one of her business, she had about 700 YouTube subscribers by the end of the year, 150 email subscribers. She made $0. The next year, she had a few thousand YouTube subscribers. Her email list doubled and she ended up making $80,000 in her business. This means she'd actually started to make an impact. She'd had clients. Year three, oh my goodness, she was at nearly 10,000 YouTube subscribers. The email list doubled again and she did $250,000 in revenue. The year after, it continued. Attracted opportunities to speak at the United Nations, to create courses on LinkedIn Learning. And as you're hearing this and going, whoa, like, yeah, wow, like that's amazing, but hang on. What did she have that I don't have? There's got to be something there. Like, surely she had some amazing budget or some special skills or whatever. And I'm telling you right now, this person is very passionate about what they do, and today they are incredible at what they do, but they didn't start that way. They have had the crippling self-doubt. They've had the imposter syndrome. I remember having multiple conversations with her over the years where she was considering quitting because it felt so difficult. She's an introvert. She wasn't naturally confident on a camera. There was nothing that said in the beginning that guaranteed that she was going to be successful. But you know the one thing that she has done? She hasn't stopped. She had commitment to following through on the plan. Just the plan, nothing else. There weren't shiny objects, there weren't new things introduced. Basically, from the beginning, she is stuck with one platform, selling to one audience, selling one product, and she focused on making 1% improvements along the way, becoming more authentic, getting clearer on who she was and what she was about, increasing her reach, better articulating her value, all of those things, but it just happened like bit by bit by bit, and sure enough, it led to incredible life-changing results. But at any point in time, if she had just gotten distracted, if she jumped ship, whether she'd given up or tried completely changing her tactics because of that frustration and the impatience, I wouldn't be able to tell you this story. And so this brings us to one concept that I want to leave you with, that if you don't remember anything else that I talked about in today's video, I don't care, it will have been worth my while. There is a way that you can guarantee you'll be successful. So forget about all those other things, all of this potential things you could be doing, and let's bring it back. The only thing that you need to do is get clear on where you're at right now, identify point A, and then figure out what is the next step that you need to take. What is point B? And rinse and repeat. Most people try to go from A to Z, or Z as we call it in Australia. And that leads to the overwhelm, the overcomplication, the feeling it's not even possible because you feel like you're at the bottom of Mount Everest. And that's it, that's enough to take you out. But if you can just keep identifying what that next little baby step is, and then the next one, and the next one, and each time you're going to identify, okay, how do I get there? Maybe I need this skill, or I need to learn this one thing, or I need to talk to this one person, or I just need to set an alarm and get up tomorrow and just publish something. You will get there if you just don't stop. So this is what I'm hoping that you walk away with today, that yes, there's lots to this process. There is so much I didn't get to talk about in this video, but you can find that information when you need it, as long as you just focus on what comes next. And I have a proposition for you. Leave me a comment and tell me what you think your point A is right now and what you think that point B is. I will respond to every single comment, and I will just provide my own insight into what I think would be helpful for you based on where you're at right now, so we can simplify this whole thing and get you moving forward again. Sound good? Yeah? Cool. And if this was helpful, please let me know by giving it a like and subscribing so that you hear about whatever it is that I'm going to bring out next. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.